Hey, this is Notser, and this is a user-submitted replay by Alkibiades. It is in the Tier 5 Premium Soviet destroyer Gremyashchy, and he's on the map Strait. For those interested, please submit your replay to notserreplay@gmail.com. Please have the replay file, in-score screenshots, and a 1 to 2 sentence summary of exactly what happens in the replay. Thank you for everyone who submits. Maybe yours will be selected next week. For this week, Alkibiades is playing in a destroyer, and he's rather reckless, which is exciting. An enemy Gremyashchy shows up. He fires on the enemy Grem. He's taking fire from what looks like multiple enemy ships in the background. You can see a Nikolai, you can see a St. Louis. He loses his guns, he has to use his damage control, and he also chooses to use smoke. So now he's invisible to the enemy, attempting to kill the enemy Grem. He's having friendlies fire on this enemy destroyer also. And he's actually successful in taking out one of the back guns. So this enemy Gremyashchy cannot fire as he's retreating. He does try and engage what looks like a friendly cruiser. And enemy torpedoes, probably from the Gremyashchy. He's able to back up though. Alki's aware of the tactics of the enemy. And he gets a good salvo. Is he going to be able to finish the enemy, or will a friendly? No, he is the one who finishes the enemy Gremyashchy. Enemy St. Louis is coming right towards him. He's outside of the smoke, so he is visible. And he's going to head forward, try to re-enter the smoke, which he does, and put himself in a position to send out his torpedoes. Remember, the Gremyashchy has pretty long-range torpedoes when you compare it to other Soviet destroyers. I believe the torpedoes go 8.5, maybe 9 kilometers out, and their speed's pretty fair. So they are actually useful, unlike every Soviet destroyer torpedo system. He sent out one set mid-turn for the St. Louis, and the second set was actually sent as the St. Louis was committing to a direction. So the second set appears to have a better chance of striking the enemy, and he doesn't want to slam into the island. That would be bad. One torpedo makes contact, does nearly 10,000 points of damage, and causes flooding. Most likely, damage control will have been used. If you notice, there's a lot of enemies also in the northeast side, near B. He can take fire from both sides. It's very dangerous right now. He's already at 50% life, and it's only 4 minutes in. Yep, couple enemies attempt to fire. Enemy Tier 5 Japanese cruiser, Furutaka, is somewhere near B. He's in between a hornet's nest. I would not recommend this strategy, but, you know, if the enemy's going to do something like this, you need to be able to exploit it. So he's going to fire all his guns on the enemy. The enemy appears to have 2, maybe 3 fires, and he's going to die. It's just when is he going to die, not if. Enemy St. Louis is headed towards B also, and his torpedo systems are up, so he's going to send him out again. St. Louis appears to have committed to heading north. He fires on Alkibiades. And he's gonna, he sustains damage. Steering gets knocked out slightly. He uses damage control. And that tells me that he has advanced firing training, which is completely fine, but in this particular battle, Last Stand would have been more useful. He's just in a hornet's nest, taking constant fire, and he doesn't need the extra range. He's not really going to be in a situation where he can engage the enemy. But the enemy certainly is engaging him, and he misses with his torpedoes. The St. Louis is not going to make the same mistake twice. Maybe a third time he'll make a mistake. The friendlies still haven't captured C. The enemy has captured A and B, and it's not looking good. Someone has to capture C. It's out in the open. Alki is the only destroyer left on his team that could potentially do it. So I think Alki should head towards C, or at least attempt to assist. His torpedoes are back up. And he's going to send him out again on the enemy St. Louis. Remember that the St. Louis is also very slow. So it's rather easy to outrun him, and I think Alki at this point said, I'm going to save my torpedoes. I can finish off the St. Louis. He's using HE, which will do minimal damage. It's going to, however, guarantee the kill. Maybe switch to AP. I need to do more testing to really feel like I could recommend that. He's doing very little damage, though. Most likely the friendlies will be the ones that kill him. And oh, he just misses a huge shot from the enemy. Thankfully, it doesn't land on Alki, and he's still pretty healthy. He's able to finish off the St. Louis, and he drops off the radar. He's too far away. Oh, okay, that was close. He's too far away from the enemy, but he could potentially capture C and at least get some tick rate to protect his team from annihilation. Anytime you don't have a point, you run the risk of losing the game because of too many losses and reaching 0 on your total points. They just lost another friendly ship, this time a battleship. That is an expensive ship to lose, and they don't really have a good scenario at any point. A, completely void of any friendlies. It looks like most of his team is trying to meet up south so they can get a chance. And Alki's like, why is our north team running south? Well, they're running south because they can't win the north. That's what I would interpret it as. So Alki's about to run into the capture point. This Nikolai is pretty close. He's going to send out his torpedoes. Most likely the Nikolai has no idea this is coming. And Alki's using sort of the forward and back method, which is legitimate. This tier 4 battleship probably is not going half speed. He's probably going full speed. Most players down here don't really understand all of the things you could do to counter theoretical torpedo strikes. They're probably just going at full speed, and they turn whenever they feel threatened. So he's going to engage the enemy Königsberg. He's using his smoke, so he's not visible. This is the last charge of smoke, though. I'm kind of curious what he has for his tier 3, though, because I would definitely recommend Superintendent. And he's doing pretty good damage. Remember, the Königsberg doesn't have a really good setup, and he lands some torpedoes on the enemy Nikolai. And an enemy Kohlberg is also in the area, very close. And he's on fire. He uses damage control. He incapacitates his propulsion, but I believe he was immune to that incapacitation. And will the Kohlberg run away? Torpedoes are already up. Wow. And he immediately uses them. This is something that I need to do more often. I need to make use of my torpedo cooldown and kind of keep an idea of when I use it. Usually what I'll do is I'll just go for it, and I won't force the issue and use it again. I kind of treat it like it's a finite resource, when in actuality, torpedoes are infinite. But it looks like this Nikolai either was avoiding the torpedo strike. This is another thing that's annoying as a destroyer. You have to compete with aircraft carriers and their torpedo strikes, which will force the enemy to maneuver wildly. So you kind of have to predict when the aircraft carrier is going to do attacks and who they're going to attack. His torpedoes are going to be ineffective, so he chooses to fire. And when he fires, he sets fire to the enemy Nikolai, who doesn't appear to have damage control available. And he's losing about 250 hit points every tick of the fire. The Nikolai tries to fire on the Gremyashchy, but he misses, of course. And he's doing very tiny amounts of... Oh, he gets a nice assist from someone who does 5k. And he's just swapping to the Königsberg. Maybe he feels like the Nikolai is going to die and it's not worth his time. That's an interesting choice, because I wouldn't say neither ship is better or worse distance-wise. It is certainly easier to hit a broadside target, but this broadside target has way more hit points than the Nikolai does at this point. And the Nikolai burns down to Alki, which is awesome. 4 kills for Alki. Alkibiades slams into a friendly battleship and he has to grind against him. Just more damage to his ship. He can't afford any of this, but he just has to accept it. The enemy Königsberg looks to be... No, he's firing on the battleship. Interesting. No, he's actually firing on the aircraft carrier. Man, if I was that Königsberg, I would destroy the Gremyashchy. He's one salvo, maybe two from dying. And he's got 4 kills. You need to consider that too. Whenever you look at the enemy, you need to do a quick check to see, okay, this guy is actually carrying his team. It would be more effective for me to take him out. Enemy Clemson appears, and Alkibiades is going to engage him with his guns. He's showing a lot of his side, but so far he's not punished for this. The Clemson is probably not comfortable yet with the game. It's only a tier 4, and he's missing pretty consistently on Alki. Alki sends out some torpedoes. He's just got to make sure that enemy torpedoes don't slam into him. The Clemson, however, looks to have retreated. Yeah, I think the Clemson went left when Alki thought he would go right. And these torpedoes, they're not going to hit anything. That was maybe a little bit too aggressive. Maybe his strategy is to always have his torpedoes on cooldown. It definitely provides a challenge for a ship if he's just sailing without paying attention. Maybe he'll accidentally run into them, but there's an enemy battleship, an enemy destroyer, friendly torpedo systems probably trying to set up an attack run on that battleship. And Alki is all by himself in the western side of the map trying to protect the aircraft carrier, keeping him in the game as long as possible. Notice they are 400 points down at this point. This is not looking good. They have to get at least another point and get some kills. Alki's first set is almost off cooldown, and I think in the replay it is not communicated. I believe he sees an indicator for the Myogi. I don't think he would send out torpedoes without having some plan of attack, and the indicator is definitely necessary. This enemy Clemson appears to be laggy for Alki as well, and he's able to land a single dispersion of a shell to cause a fire. He uses damage control. Might not have used damage control on a fire in a destroyer, quite honestly. Alki's so low, he's barely over 1,000 hit points. He sustains damage, though he drops below it. Is he going to kill the Clemson before he tries to kill him? The enemy battleship shows up, hasn't sustained any damage from the torpedoes, and Alki is in trouble. He's visible to the enemy, and that's the worst feeling ever. If this battleship would show any interest in killing him at all, he would be done. But it doesn't look like he is. He used his first gun cooldown on the carrier, and now he's got his guns pointed at Alkibiades, but they're still on cooldown. So Alki can retreat, send out torpedoes. He doesn't have smoke, unfortunately. So if the battleship... Oh, jeez. So close. If the battleship lands any rounds on him, he's dead. Now, an enemy New York right in front is very low. So it's a natural attack path for Alki to assist in killing. The friendly aircraft carrier dies, probably to the enemy Myogi. But Alki can't deal with that guy right now. He's way too low. The most he can really do is attempt to try and capture B, maybe even go after A. He doesn't want to deal with a full health or nearly full health battleship, and he's going to sustain one more shot. I believe he's maneuvering with that in mind. You can hear it. Oh, barely misses. I can't believe he didn't want to look at it just to see how close it was. But hey, he's got 5 kills. I don't think I could have lived through this scenario. I don't know if I would have put myself in some of these scenarios, but he's been able to overcome the odds, and now he's capturing B for his team. The enemy only needs 100 points left, a battleship kill, and maybe 20 seconds with A will give them the win. But I don't think Alki wants them to get the win, and since he can't engage the enemy battleship, he has to do the next best thing, which is help his team by protecting them from a capture scenario. So he's going to go up to A. The enemy aircraft carrier is in this area, so he will have to deal with him. He uses a speed boost, and yep, here they come. I would turn on my AA. There's no reason to not have your AA. Maybe you take out one of these guys. It's just in a scenario where they're going to eventually find you, and once they find you, they're going to want to kill you. And I know the AA is terrible for the Gremyashchy. It is especially terrible. It's sort of like a race. He's got to get to A before he dies. He has to capture A and give his team the best chance to win. I don't think the Langley... Well, the Langley might be able to turn and go towards A. Notice his whole team is over by C and trying to take out the enemy battleship, which they do. But the battleship also takes one of them out, so it's only a friendly battleship, a friendly cruiser, and Alkibiades. And it looks like this aircraft carrier is using automatic drop because the aircraft is way too far away from Alki. I can't believe how far away it is. And are they coming? Yep, here they come. Yep, not a good drop. Basically a complete waste, but it is a low-tier aircraft carrier. Most likely the guy just loaded up, is trying them out, and he's like, okay, automatic works well, that's fine with me. I don't even think he has a dive bomber anymore. Alki opens up, trying to get a little bit of damage, maybe cause a fire because he's using HE. And you want to kind of aim for under the smokestacks in that area. That's where you're going to get a possible citadel. And yes, you can get citadels with HE on a Langley. They don't have any armor, and they are probably the slowest ships in the game. I think they go like 15, 16 knots top. Just a slug. He earns Confederate. Awesome. So he's going to be able to benefit from that extra XP signal flag. He does capture A. So now his team is benefiting from 3 points while the enemy has none. He has a friendly cruiser and a friendly battleship headed up, but I don't think they're going to get there in time to influence this particular battle. The enemy aircraft carrier has successfully rearmed and he's sending out. Alki finally gets a citadel right at that little point underneath the smokestacks. He gets another one. He sets him on fire, and he's showing a lot of his side. Can he kill the Langley before the torpedo bombers come by and try and wipe him out? The Langley's trying to angle his ship. He sees that he's taking a lot of damage. Oh man, if he's able to take out Alki and possibly run away, he could maybe draw this game out. I don't know. There's a minute 40 left. This isn't looking good for Alki, though. Here come the torpedo drop. And what? It's a straight drop. Oh, no! Alkibiades is going straight for one, and he couldn't maneuver. There was no way. Maybe he was trying to go for the kill. He could have. Maybe he could have avoided those torpedoes, but just bad luck. The torpedoes were right on his nose. And now it's up to the tick. Can the friendly cruiser get in range to engage the Langley? They have a minute left, and they're down by 100 points. They just need to earn 100 points in 1 minute. The friendly cruiser is trying to get in range in order to engage the Langley. We'll see how successful that actually is, though. He doesn't have any way of extending his vision range, though. But remember, the Langley is so slow, it's never going to get away. So in 20 seconds, they were able to bring it to 50 points. So it looks good. It looks like it's going to be a clean victory. Clean victory, Notser. Well, okay. A huge carry from Alkibiades in his Gremyashchy. And shame on the enemy. Okay, you kill this guy. You see that he has 2, 3, 4 kills. You see how many hit points he's at. You don't go for a ship that's at more hit points. You go for the ship that's the most effective. And yes, they are able to bring this game to a win. And it's all on the shoulders of Alki. He's able to earn Confederate 5 kills, 12 fires, 3 floods, base XP of 3,108, around 110,000 points of damage. Thank you, Alki, for sharing this replay with us all. I really enjoyed how close this game was. I hope everyone enjoyed it. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.